Hello, I am YamXFan, and this is my submission to SGDQ 2019 for Super Monkey Ball Adventure Story Mode 80%. Let's get started here in 3, 2, 1, go. So starting out here, we're in Jungle Island. The goal of 80%, we have to get 60 joy points and the true ending of each of the 4 monkey kingdoms. And to do that, we have to help out monkeys with their missions and defeat some enemies called naysayers, which we'll see in just a few minutes. So this first area within Jungle Island is actually one of the hardest parts of the run to do optimally. So our first mission is going to be helping this monkey find his daughter, who is hiding under someone's top hat. And to do that, we have to knock over these monkeys in such a way that their hats fall off, which requires not going too quickly or too slowly. So I need to be very careful, because if I'm doing it not quite right, they're not going to fall over, and then it's a pain to set up again properly, quickly at the same time. Slowly, obviously, wouldn't be an issue. So we're almost getting into this mission. So our next mission, we're going to be helping out this beekeeper by bringing his bees back to their nests. They've just kind of built hives all around the village, and that's not good. And you're gonna notice, both during that last mission and during this one, I'm grabbing bananas that are kinda out of the way. So there are 2 missions in this category that require giving bananas to a charity. And basically, during Jungle Island, we're gonna need 100 bananas before we can actually go to any of the other kingdoms. And that's actually pretty tight with the route, but I have specific bananas I'm going out for. And then if I am missing some by the end, there are plenty of extras there, they're just a bit out of the way. So we're gonna need 250 total during this run, which the extra 150 are of no issue whatsoever. This mission here, we're going to be delivering this balloon. It's a message to the guy who had the top hat mission. A bunch of bananas by his house too, really nice. And then after this, we're going to be basically doing a photograph mission where we have to pose for a picture within 30 seconds, which is not hard at all. But then, things that are hard, right after this, we actually have probably the trickiest skip in the game that is currently used. So this is just, we call it rock jump. We're going to try to bounce off of a rock in such a way that it sends us flying over the wall of rocks next to it. So here we go. Oh, lovely. That was really good, actually. Yeah, that was really fast. So basically, what that allows us to do is now we can go through Jungle Island backwards, which actually saves a couple loading screens, which loading in this game takes about 15 seconds, so that's huge. And then also, in story mode, periodically you're going to have to play challenge mode stages, like regular Monkey Ball stages, to advance, and those are very slow. We're actually barely going to do any in this category, because we can actually skip almost all of them. Only a handful are still on their route. And those are like completely unskippable, so not gonna happen anytime soon that we skip those. So what I just did with this guy, he taught me Boxing Ball, which is our first chant. And what chants are basically, you saw that little menu pop up, I input a code, and then I had a boxing ball. So what chants do is pretty much each chant has a unique effect. And that effect's going to help me complete certain missions, defeat naysayers, advance in the area, just whatever. So, we actually want to minimize how often we use them because they take time to do, but they are also very helpful sometimes. Also require a lot of the time. That's a good reason to do. Alright, so this cannon is very convenient. It's right at the start of this island, and we can just kind of launch all the way over here and we'll fly over this wall. And we actually just skipped climbing this entire island, so that's pretty nice. And right here we just have another camera mission. We need to climb up to the top of the lighthouse and pose. This one's pretty simple. I just need to bounce along and get that banana, because that banana's good. And then pretty much just get up here. Get a few flowers across the way, of course, because that's faster, obviously. I'm just going to carefully fall down off the lighthouse so I land next to our first naysayer. So there are 4 types of naysayers in the game. This is technically the second one you're supposed to meet. This one you just have to punch 3 times whenever it reveals its weak spot. which is pretty clearly labeled by a target. So after this mission, I'm going to grab a banana bunch under that bridge, and I'm just going to jump off the stage, because I'm going to warp next to the next mission. And that's going to be our last mission for this area. We're going to be hatching some eggs and bringing them to their nest. They're all just kind of flying out over the ocean. So conveniently, a monkey bubble lets us do this kind of thing. I just need to try to make my turns pretty tight here. As much flight time as possible. Flying in this game is a bit iffy to control, but once you're used to it, it ain't bad at all. And I'm going to try to land really close to the loading zone to exit this area at the end of this mission. That was actually really close. I almost bonked on the nest, which would have made me have to restart the mission. So, that would be bad. Luckily, it didn't happen. Now I just gotta wait for the birds to actually land, and there we go. We're done with that area. Now we're going into the area outside of the King's Palace, which used to have a minute-long auto-scroller in it, but luckily the new banana routing cut that out, and now we just get bananas instead. Which I actually have an extra one right now, so should be absolutely fine. I'm gonna try to land on this flower here, so I can bounce right over to our next camera mission. Ooh. Speaking of the camera's kind of flipped for no reason right there. That's pretty cool. And I should mention, the reason that everything is routed in such a strange way is because we actually, to get out of Jungle Island, we have to be in the palace, and we also have to have 60 joy points. So we tried to get back to the palace with 60 joy points instead of looping around a bunch. Alright, a few more bananas here, and then we're off to this gong mission. We have to hit these gongs to wake up the monkeys who have fallen asleep by them. They're guards, who should not be sleeping. But these gongs can kind of bounce you off, and sometimes you'll just fall off of the platforms and potentially die. Luckily though, if you land on the platforms before you hit the gong, you will not fly off and die. 100% of the time. So, as long as I aim properly, there is absolutely no risk of that happening. Last one right here. Bang just a little bit up. And there we go. I'm just gonna launch myself back over there to get to the charity monkey. And I have an extra banana, so I can go ahead and skip that one over there. And there we go. We have our 60 joy points off to the palace. Now, the palace is kind of interesting. So there's a cutscene in here, as well as the mission that we have to do to actually get out of Jungle Island. And the game does not expect you to do both of these within one trip to the palace, because we went through the level backwards. So the game will actually softlock if I do both of these at once. However, there is a way to avoid this. I'll grab this banana bunch real quick. So when I do this mission, I'm going to carefully hit all of these monkeys, except for this guy right there, and the two I need to avoid no matter what. I'm just going to run into this guy super fast, he's going to get flattened, and then by the time he gets up, I'm going to be over here. And when I'm over here, the game doesn't softlock. Why that works, we have no idea, but immediately the chant monkey's over here anyway, and he's going to teach us how to warp to Moonhaven and Zootopia. So we're going to Zootopia first. We are done with Jungle Island until the very end of the run. So we're going to be alternating between Zootopia and Moonhaven for the next, 20-something minutes. Pretty long segment here for the middle two kingdoms. So Zootopia is an amusement park, which has been, the leadership has changed over to Fat Cat, and everything's just kind of terrible. So starting out, we're going to help this guy. This is pretty much exactly like the Top Hat mission from Jungle Island. We just need to knock over these guys so their masks come off, because their masks are stuck on their heads, which is not convenient considering they want to breathe. I'm just going to jump down after I hit this guy. Oop, he didn't want to fall over. How rude. There we go. That one can be pretty awkward, so backing it up like that, not too much of a big deal. So now we're going into the roller coaster area, which used to be a lot longer than it is now. We actually rerouted Zootopia a bit ago, and we took out all the long missions from the roller coaster. We're actually going to do nothing with the roller coaster itself. We're going to learn a chant. and then we're going to do the other two missions here. But first of all, we're learning Sticky Ball now. One of the most broken chants in the game, and also one of the game's favorites to make you use. So, now we're going to help out some kids. They are stuck on these balloons flying over the water by the roller coaster, and flying into them conveniently makes them all land back on the ground. So, they're fine. Yay. I'm just going to go straight to the last mission and land there, because I do not need to worry about the roller coaster whatsoever. So, camera. So this is a camera mission. We need to land ourselves on a floating platform out in the water, which I'm going to try to aim myself a bit to this side, so that I can hit it over the platform itself so I don't fall off. And then I'm going to carefully get onto the corner of this platform, because when I'm right here, I'm not going to slide off. If I do slide off during that, then I'm going to, potentially, if I'm very unlucky, I will have a big time loss, but if you're doing that, there's no issue whatsoever. Also, if I don't land on the platform itself, I only lose like 5 seconds, it's no big deal. Now we're going into Moonhaven, which is a pretty tricky area overall, I'd say. So we're going to start out here. We're actually going to ignore all the missions in this area starting out. We are just going to play some good old-fashioned challenge mode stages.
Ready?
Starting here, these are some of the advanced stages, the first one being bowls. It's pretty simple. We just kind of bounce across and stop right about there, and we got the goal. Yay. This next one, however, though, is not so simple. This is Freewheeler, which, this stage, the camera and the controls are a bit iffy because the stage is spinning. But there's a big skip right here. It skips about half the stage just to do that. Really not difficult at all. We're going to kind of try to make the camera spin around here so we can go a bit faster. Once again though, controls are a bit iffy, so I gotta be pretty careful on this to make sure I don't fall off. And then we're going to be doing one more mission, or not one more mission, one more Monkey Ball stage here. Skid Slalom, which is based on these little bars that move back and forth on the stage, and their movement is actually based on what you're holding on the control stick. So I'm going to try to line them all up so I can just slide right past them on this middle section. Oh, I went a bit too fast, I almost fell off. Luckily there's no real penalty for falling out other than just a few seconds, so don't need to worry about like a game over or something with Monkey Ball 1. These ones I'm just going to play a bit safe. Bananas would be nice, not necessary though. Like I said, the last 150 bananas in the route are not an issue whatsoever. And the reason I did these stages now is I'm going to talk to this guy behind this door. He's going to have a mission later, but he doesn't now. But this cutscene is actually the trigger for a chant to spawn. So here we're going to learn a Scalar Ball, which is a chant that lets you grow bigger. I'm just going to come up here before using it for convenience's sake. And then there's a naysayer right here. I'm just going to ignore him. I don't need to worry about him. I'm just going to kind of brush right past him. Never mind, I'm going to go straight into his mouth. But then I'm going to brush right past him. First try, no issues whatsoever. Yeah, that guy doesn't give enough joy points to be worth it to kill him. He only gives like 3 or so, maybe 2. I don't remember for sure. Obviously we'd fight him in 100% though. Only takes a couple seconds. Now we're in the air automaton, starting out with this camera mission. We're going to aim this cannon all the way up and then just a little bit down. And what that does is it actually sends us right to where this pose spot is. We'll land on this bowl, and we can just go right back up. Easy peasy. This usually takes a bit longer because you have to fall to the bottom and then ride a gear up to the top. It's just annoying. But, you can just do that. And I somehow didn't fall there with that awkward movement, but we're good. This mission here, we have to hit these buttons to realign some pipes to get the air automaton more efficient. I don't know how it's more efficient, and I'm sure the game doesn't either, but it does, so we gotta do it. Also, you only actually have to hit this button, so you can skip it, but it is extremely difficult and precise, so not worth going for whatsoever. This mission right here, is our first instance of using Sticky Ball other than just learning the chant. We need to patch the bowl that is in this upper area. It has a few leaks. And after this, I'm going to try to position myself in a pretty precise location so that the camera will cooperate. Sometimes even if you're in the right position, the camera doesn't cooperate. So we'll see what happens. And that looks good. Hey, it cooperated. Oh, but I went too fast. I don't think I've ever done that before. It's kind of funny. Whatever. That barely matters. This last mission here, we need to help some kids out who have managed to get themselves stuck in some pipes. It's pretty impressive they got stuck in there, considering they'd have to like fly way up in the sky, but whatever. To get them out, we just have to bounce on these little pads to let them out. The 3 on the right take 4 bounces, while the one on the left takes 3. I don't know why one of them takes less bounces, but whatever, game, you do you. I'm going to try to hit 2 at once here on the last phase. We'll see if I can get one. Hey, I got one. That saves 1 bounce, so completely worth it. Not like there's a risk or anything, so of course it's worth it. Alright, so the fire automaton here is one of the hardest sections of the entire game, casually and from a speedrun perspective. So for this run, we are going to be on a 20-second cycle for most of this area, the first 2 missions that we do. First, though, we're going to learn Wood Ball. So pretty much this area, the main issue in this area is we have to light a torch in the fire automaton itself. And first we have to bring fire up to the top, because it's not there yet. But first we're going to bring this guy his toolbox, because he left it up there somehow. So we're actually going to just take this wing ring here. We're just going to fly pretty much halfway up this area. It's really convenient, you can just fly up this area super fast if you're not doing a mission that requires that you climb. And this toolbox is a balloon. Lots of stuff in this game is represented by balloons, if you haven't noticed. Whoa, that was sketchy. I shouldn't actually waste time though, because cycle's pretty lenient as long as I get one thing during this mission. Oop. Like I said, lenient, so we're probably not losing time. The Hermie is Wood Ball. Now, the naysayers in this area don't actually give any joy points for some reason, which is a shame because you could probably route some stuff out of this level if they did, because you could just kill these naysayers and the one in the front area and it would totally add up to enough to route out a later mission. So I actually just ran around to that guy because I don't need to kill him and he gave me the fire I need. The goal of this mission is just to light the torch at the top. It's by the guy who has the final mission, so pretty straightforward. However, this is where the trickiest part of this area comes in, I'd say. So I'm going to try to light this torch by this naysayer, then I'm going to kill the naysayer, and I'm going to try to immediately light on fire again, and then make this platform cycle. Let's see if I get it. It should be good. Yeah, we're good. So basically, that is pretty much essential for making the torch cycle at the top. If you don't get that, you're not going to make the cycle. But it's pretty lenient if you do it right. So, we got it there. Hopefully I'll be able to make the cycle. So this upper mission here, we have to bring the fire to a very awkward location. I still don't know if any strat that I know of is the intended way to do this mission. But here we go. So I'm going to try to position myself. I have to avoid this water in the bottom of the bowl or I lose my fire. I'm going to position myself right about here. I'm going to go when the torch is right there. I'm just going to roll around and bounce on it, and we made it just fine. Like I said, that saves 20 seconds over other strats that we have. Because the old route we had to use that moving torch in a different spot. So we actually had to wait anyway. Now I just gotta deliver a message balloon up to that same guy. He is moved up a little bit, but the way balloons work in this game is to give them to whatever you're delivering them to. You actually just have to have the top of the balloon near whatever it is. And conveniently, the guy moved just slightly up next to this ledge. So we can just kind of stand over here and be next to him and he'll take it. whenever the balloon gets high enough. Alright, so we'll be back to Moonhaven later. We'd have to play some Monkey Ball stages if we wanted to go to the other area from that area, so it's definitely not worth it. Now going back into Zootopia, I should mention this area has the biggest skip in the game. So basically, you're not supposed to be able to do the final mission of any kingdom until you have 60 joy points in that kingdom. However, the only thing preventing you from getting to Zootopia as early is a gate. And we just need some way to bypass that gate, and we can skip 20 points worth of missions. So, conveniently, there are multiple ways to do that, including one that was found just a little bit ago that is extremely easy and fast. This mission was Pow. You just had to ring that bell. Really simple mission. Like 5 joy points just for doing that. Alright, so now we're going into the maze area. We're going to be getting a lot of joy points here. So we're actually only going to have like 37 joy points when we go into the final area of Zootopia. Which is crazy, because there are 25 joy points in there that are fast, and 20 of them are required. So the maze here is, you can skip a lot of it, but unfortunately a lot of going fast in this area requires a power-up or a chant you don't get until after you have to have cleared this area. So we don't really get to experience that except in 100%. But we do get to play around in here a good bit. First we have a camera mission where we have to climb around in some tight ropes, these tight ropes to be exact. And there we go. And now we're going to take out the bumper cars that the monkeys have been stuck on for days. These are pretty much random, so I just gotta kind of hope they cooperate. Just gotta punch them out. Just kind of mash A and move around and hope stuff goes well. That's really all you can do here. Oh, that was good. I think that one might have stayed in a little bit. Oh my goodness. Oh, that one did stay on. Shoot. There we go. Alright, so I'm gonna leave Boxing Ball on here, because I'm actually about to kill this Naysayer. We can skip this Naysayer to get out of here, but the Naysayers in this area are actually part of what we replaced the roller coaster missions with. As well as this message balloon. Which, this balloon used to take you way out of the way, but since we're killing the Naysayers anyway, and it's just as many joy points as the roller coaster, and the roller coaster takes about 2 minutes to do, so might as well just do this. Because now we're going by all 4 Naysayers anyway. So, a bit of a skip right here. We're going to be trying to roll off of the left side of this bridge, just like so, and we just bounced over that wall. That saves a decent chunk of time. Gotta wait for this Naysayer a little bit. Just gotta wait for these guys to spin, and he's done. Easy as that. Those are the most basic type of Naysayers, obviously. Alright, so now we're just going to go to the Fat Cat building, which has the final mission of Zootopia, and of course kill one more Naysayer just to get some joy points here. Should mention you only get the joy points from Naysayers if you kill all of them in a room. And he's right outside of the Fat Cat building. I'll hop over this wall, and here he is. Mission guy next to me is extremely long. Nowhere near useful for 90%. I'm gonna wait just a bit after I kill this guy to make absolutely sure my joy points go through, because otherwise I'll have to come back here, and that would add a lot of time, around 35 seconds. Gonna wait, and there we go. Alright, so the Fat Cat building, like I said, has the biggest skip in the game. So I'm going to be killing 2 Naysayers for 5 more joy points, and then up we go. So, I'm just going to explain the skip. So, like I said earlier, Sticky Ball is extremely broken. And one of the ways it's broken is that when you come off of a wall or ceiling with it, without undoing it or climbing onto another wall, you keep your gravity for a little bit, because it actually just changes your gravity to face a certain direction of the wall or ceiling. And we can abuse that to skip climbing up a little sticky ball pillar that doesn't actually that's not actually like part of the main skip itself, but it's just a faster way of climbing. Also, yeah, you can kill these Naysayers like this. but then right after that is the actual big part of the skip that was just found. So I'm going to climb up onto this ceiling here, and I'm just going to launch myself right before I get to this pole, and I can reach up here. And then right here, I'm just going to go right through that fence. It only has collision on one side for some reason, and that took us forever to realize. And one more sticky ball abuse here. I'm just going to hold up right and then up left, and I made it right there, and now I'm all the way at the top of the Fat Cat building, just like that. That's so much faster than climbing it normally anyway. Alright, so now we got 4 Monkey Ball stages. This is actually the only set in the game where I have to do all of them.
Ready, go!
So these stages are really difficult to do well. I actually play this stage safe because I'm actually running on a cycle right now. That spinning platform, it still moves while you're in these stages. And if I just play the rest of the stages fast without screwing anything up too terribly, I'm not going to lose time. I should also mention, I do not need to use Sticky Ball here, but for the sake of marathon safety, I wouldn't want to fall down the Fat Cat building and have to climb up again. So I'm just going to take the time loss and climb up normally, climb around normally, I mean. If I were on a PB attempt or something, I would definitely just roll around not using the Sticky Ball. That was Plug Hold, that stage is easy. Now we're going to ZZ Stop, which is pretty much just one intended skip. The Banana Bunch mid-skip, so you know it's intended.
Ready, go!
And then the last stage we do here is going to be Bread Basket, which is a very annoying stage. It has a fast strat that technically would save a cycle of this spinning platform, but it is extremely risky, and for specific reasons I don't want to risk going for it in story mode runs, particularly in a marathon run, just because it could cost a lot of time. So instead, I'm just going to go up right over here, and then loop back down, and accidentally hit that arrow and have to loop back again. It's all good, except I'm going to loop back again because I didn't quite make it. Hopefully it didn't cost me too much time. I'm just going to kind of bounce right over here. Pretty much that stage the intended way because I screwed up so much. And so now I just gotta wait for the cycle. Okay, that elevator opens. And let's see here. Oh man. So because I just missed that, I'm actually not even going to use the cycle. I'm just going to roll down here and bounce myself over here because it'll be faster than waiting for that. I have to wait for this elevator anyway. And that moving platform takes long enough. It's not worth it if you barely miss it like that. So now we're coming up to the final mission of Zootopia. First we have to watch a little cutscene with Fat Cat himself. Right up here by this ladder. And then the mission itself is basically, there are these little things, I don't know what they're supposed to be, along the sides of the room. And we have to knock those into their opposite position. Also the game always lags there, it's really weird. And then there's a little light puzzle in the center of the room that is pretty straightforward. Unfortunately, I have to reuse Boxing Ball every time I need to climb a ramp, because you don't go fast enough while chanting. And also, the Boxing Glove will actually push you down the ramps, because it's straight in front of you. So you have to just redo it every time. Minor frustration, but oh well. And the light puzzle here. Gotta hit this one. And go across. Hit that. And right to the bottom right. Missed it. Top left. Bottom right. And in the middle. And we are now done with Zootopia, 62 joy points, and the final mission completed. Alright, so now we're going to go back to Moonhaven. The ability to warp to Muckatropolis actually won't come in until I'm done with both Zootopia and Moonhaven, so that is guaranteed to be the end of the run. Except Jungle Island at the end, obviously. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and do pretty much everything we're going to be doing in the entrance here, except for the final mission of Moonhaven, because that's not going to be available. So this mission here, there are 4 sets of 3 switches that we have to hit. We have 15 seconds for each set after we hit the first one. First we hit that one, we roll up this ramp right here, Alright, that was pretty good. Those ramps can be very finicky, to say the least. Drop down, hit that one. Gonna roll around and hit that on the way down. Here's number 3. Our third set's in this bowl. Ooh, that was a really nice bounce. I got off that button. In our fourth set, we're just going to use this gear. And I used it earlier, but didn't mention it. You just kind of move it, rotate it, ride it up. I actually kind of like it. So yeah, you saw that guy right there with the balloons. His mission's really slow without a power-up you get later, so that's a no-go for any percent. Alright, so now we have our first litter mission, which is a strangely common thing in this game. You basically just go around using sticky ball to pick up litter. Somehow someone got their banana peel up there. I'm not really sure how, but good job, person, monkey. And then I'm just gonna have to wait a little bit for that spinning platform to get to a certain position. I actually did this area very quickly. It usually doesn't go quite that well. Just don't have to wait quite as long. And with that I can just get up this ramp, and over here, and finish the mission. Alright, so now I'm gonna go into the water automaton just to give Mac the charity monkey 150 bananas. Which you might have noticed I have almost 200, so it is absolutely no issue whatsoever to have enough. We'll roll around in this ice, and here he is. And then right back to the entrance area to do one more. It's really annoying, because it's like 30 seconds of loading just to do that. But everything else in the water automaton is very slow. So that's a no-go. Well, I should mention it's also a lot faster when I have the litter power up. That keeps haunting me because I don't have it. Alright, so this final mission of Moonhaven is very strange. So the overall plot of Moonhaven is that the big monkeys, call themselves the Biggins, don't think the little uns are good enough to do actual work. But now with this guy's mission, the Biggins are all getting tired. We have to get the little uns to do their work. Also, when you have a little un on your ball, the controls are very finicky and bad. So that ramp is awful, and I hate it. Just because you have to do it from such an awkward position with a monkey on your ball. Hopefully it won't take me too long here. I really don't care for this ramp. This mission? Oh my goodness. I don't know when the last time I failed this 3 times in a run was. Failing it once or twice isn't that big of a deal, but 3 times, not the best. The rest of these, one thing I should mention, if I get all of the things for bringing these monkeys to on the upper level, or on the lower level at the start, and then I just fall down to the lower level with a monkey on me before I finish the mission, then I am very screwed, because you cannot get back up to the top with a monkey on you after you fall. So I specifically leave one switch at the bottom for that reason, and also because it's just where I need to be after this anyway, because the chant monkey will appear right after I do this. This is the true ending of Moonhaven. So just one more switch here, right next to where that monkey is. And then we'll be going off to Monketropolis, the last kingdom of the game. There we go. And here we go, off to Monketropolis, the big city. So the main plot of Monketropolis is that it and its neighbor city Congrilla have been at conflict for a very long time, and no one actually knows why anymore. So basically, it's the main plot of this game. It's a Romeo and Juliet story. The Prince of Monketropolis and Princess of Congrilla ran away to Jungle Island, so we're tangled up in it. But now we just gotta kind of help out both sides to get joy points from each of them, and then we're gonna reunite them, of course. So first we're gonna help out Monketropolis, and there are Congrillans within Monketropolis who are wearing masks. And they wear these masks to protect themselves from the absurd levels of noise that Monketropolis produces. Which they're producing that noise to get rid of the monkeys with masks, whom they think are monsters. So, right now I'm unclogging these machines to boost the noise levels, which is lovely. And I just gotta bring these back to that guy and throw these in this machine that sucks them up. I don't know what it's supposed to be. And we have our second to last camera mission of the run. We just need to climb up the staircase and jump off. Right here. And now we're gonna learn the dumbest chant in the game, Tetherball. This chant basically lets you tether things and bring them alongside you. It is used for exactly 2 missions in the game, both of which are not fun missions whatsoever. Starting with this mission, where we have to escort some prisoners to their cages. Prisoners being, of course, the monsters wearing their masks, who I guess have escaped. And I need to be pretty careful when I get to these guys, because if they manage to get on top of a manhole cover, they're going to dive down into it and warp to somewhere else in the city. And that loses a lot of time, because I have to basically just leave that area because there's no monkey anymore, and then find where they go on the map and go there. So I need to be pretty careful. This one's the trickiest of them, but we got him just fine. You also move extraordinarily slowly while you're carrying them. I'm actually going to keep bouncing off of this wall so I can get enough speed to climb up the railing. Going up the stairs is extremely slow because it bounces you a little bit. Bounces you back, I should say. Plus, you notice I got hit by a car there. If that happens, I'm going to be extremely careful. If I am not careful and the monster monkey I'm carrying gets hit by a car, there's a chance he will fall into the bottomless pit inside of the prison. Which seems like it'd be fine because, you know, they're trapped down there anyway, but they're going to be stuck down there and I won't be able to put them in their cell. So I'm just going to have to restart the mission, which obviously is not good. Restarting missions, 2/3 of the way through, almost done. Yeah, that's not good at all. So while I'm getting this last monkey, I'm going to go ahead and explain. We have a pretty big skip coming up here. Now we're going to skip 5 monkey ball stages, the actual first stages of experts, which is a very strange skip. So this is the only city in any video game I've ever seen where the streetlights are bouncy. So basically, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to use streetlights to bounce myself behind the walls protecting the loading zone behind these stages. We're going to go right over here. I'm going to try to bounce off of this light post. Oh, that wasn't good. Wow, I actually saved that. That was really awkward. These are very finicky. Oh, that's annoying. That's fine now. There's a backup right here. You can just climb up onto the wall like this. It's just faster to use that other area to bounce up. Here we go. Bounce on that. Bounce on that. I'm going to be very careful here. I need to bounce on this and then... Oh, got to land on a bad spot there. I need to land on the particular side of that so I get that kind of bounce, and then I can just go right into the loading zone. No problems. That skips 5 monkey ball stages, like I said, and some of them are pretty long. You don't really have much of a choice, because the stage you skip is actually the longest challenge mode stage in the game, so it's definitely the one you don't do. Alright, so right here I'm learning Speedy Ball, a chant that is surprisingly useless in a speedrun. We're only going to be using it for this one mission, which is a 3-lap race around the highway with this gang leader dude. And I positioned myself there so I get hit by a car. Unfortunately, it bounced me up a little bit, so I didn't get a full speed boost. But that can help your acceleration if you just use the Speed Ball chant right there for the first time. Yeah, this part I'm literally just going to be running around the highway 3 times. There is nothing spectacular going on, so in a marathon this would be a phenomenal time for donations. But for now I can go ahead and start explaining what I'm going to be doing after this. So there are 2 missions left in this area that I'm going to be doing in this run. The first of which is realigning some pipes within the sound factory to make the noises louder, of course. But I'm actually going to be realigning one pipe, because all you actually have to do is touch the trigger for the mission to end, because the game doesn't think you can get over there without relining all the pipes, obviously. Which you can actually do without relining any pipes, but it's kind of risky to do that, so I don't want to do it. And then after that, I'm going to be delivering a message to the guy who works in the factory, and he's going to be in a spot that's basically halfway through the pipe area, which I should mention the pipe mission is extraordinarily long normally. But luckily, like I said, it's completely skippable. They conveniently put the trigger for the end of the mission right by the start. So, gotta use sticky ball here. I'm gonna climb on these pipes. And like I said, sticky ball is broken. Although this isn't gonna be really using it. I'm just gonna position myself carefully here, so I land on this little flat area. And then I can just roll off of this, and I'll have enough speed so I land on this turnable pipe. And the trigger for the end of the mission is right over here. So there we go, no issues whatsoever. Alright. And then the message delivery, right here. So there's actually a big skip. The factory worker has gone to the top of the factory, which is halfway through the maze pretty much. And conveniently, we can skip right from the start to the end, because everything is very conveniently laid out in this area for speedruns. And thank goodness for that. So I'm just going to climb until I'm outside, and then I'm actually going to drop off. Because this factory has these weird accordion things that just kind of move up and down. And I'm just going to land on that. And then I'm going to re-sticky ball. And I'm going to use momentum from this going up to land on this pipe right here. And this pipe actually goes directly to the top of the factory. So that literally just skipped a giant pipe maze. And that's all I'm going to be doing in Metropolis itself, actually. So, that's that. And then once I deliver this, I'm just going to jump off the factory, and it'll warp me right next to the loading zone for going to Congrilla. There we go. And here we go. So, before we actually get to Congrilla, we're going to have this little middle area. The purpose of this area is to check to make sure that you have gotten your monkey to the rank of Chief of Police. Which sounds very strange, because it is. Pretty much, you have to do the Patches mission from the city area, the Prisoners mission, and the Racing mission, and the Factory mission to get to the rank of Chief of Police. And if you don't do that, you're not able to put this patch here, which will open this door. So, now we are free to go to Congrilla, where we're going to have a few pretty tricky missions. So for the first one, so the deal with Congrilla right now is that they have tied down the sun to further their agriculture, which is actually hurting their agriculture, but more on that later. First, we're going to be sending some robot monkeys over there to get some bananas. And so we have to launch them using this cannon, which this cannon is horrible. It is extremely finicky. If you adjust just a teeny tiny bit, you can be very off aim. So I just have to have pretty careful visual cues here to make sure I hit the islands where I gotta shoot the robots first try. Luckily, I can destroy the robots early, so I don't have to wait for them to crash if I do miss. But as long as I'm careful with my aiming, there should be no issue whatsoever. Alright, 4 more. We'll put it right about there. That should work. There's a chance it'll be a bit high. I don't think so, though. Alright. The actual triggers are pretty lenient, but the thing is just, like I said, aiming the cannon, you can move just barely at all, and it'll go flying in a direction, game-wise. This last one's kind of annoying. I think that'll work. You don't really have a precise visual cue for that because the clouds are moving. That's really all that's by it. Conveniently though, there's that little bridge there, so if you miss it, there's a chance it'll just bounce on the bridge like it did. Make it up even though it crashed. And now we're finally launching over to Congrilla, where we're finally going to get that extremely broken chant. just in time for it to be useful for almost nothing, because Congrilla is intended to have this chance. This is Hoverball, which lets you hover, and also jump while hovering, which is extraordinarily broken in many areas. But right now, we're helping Congrilla, so we're going to destroy those robots we just launched. And I just made sure I hit that robot as that cutscene played, so I don't have to deal with them later. It's kind of tight to get there in time, but we good. This robot's kind of annoying. This mission's just kind of annoying in runs. The robots are not over the actual islands much, and it's not really worth it to jump off of the island to hit them. Because then you have to climb back onto each other islands. And if you miss, then it was all for naught. Oh, that was really cool. Yeah, let's see here. This one's really finicky. I don't know why I said finicky, it's really annoying. It's only really over the island at this point, so if you're not there at a good time, you just have to wait forever. This one usually is about right there when I get to him. On this island. Hello. Goodbye. They're looking from inside. And the last robot's just on this island over here. Gotta use this island to get to it. Wait for it to come around to this side. And our last really potentially time-killing mission here is watering the banana trees. This is another balloon delivery mission, but it's a bit interesting because the actual area you have to have the top of the balloon close enough to is the bottom of the trees, which is extraordinarily annoying casually. But you can just jump next to most of the islands and it'll be good. Except for this one. This one, you have to be pretty careful to get the balloon to go far enough. There's a convenient little setup for it though, so it got there pretty fast. And the rest of these trees are pretty much just jump next to it and it should work. So, nothing too crazy here for the rest of this mission. Alright, 3 more trees. This mission's just a teeny tiny bit faster than another mission that used to be on the route. And that mission was a lot less interesting, so I'm glad it got routed out. There's actually another litter mission, which Sticky Ball makes you go extraordinarily slow, so thank you. Alright, so then we got one more mission for this area. We have to see those little towers around this area. Those are sound towers built in Megatropolis. And it's making it extraordinarily loud here, so we don't like that because we're helping Congrillans now. So we're going to go and turn them all by flying into them. And pretty much I'm just going to make a big ring around Congrilla here. And then I'm going to go flying straight to the loading zone for the next area. I'm going to try to land right next to it as close as I can. Conveniently, the last tower I'm going to hit is going to be directly across Congrilla from it, so I can just pretty much fly straight and I'll land there. I'm kind of tight here. Very tight turn there. And then just a straight shot right to the loading zone. So now we're actually going into the heart of Congrilla, which is actually moved underground because it's too hot with the sun. Trees can't even grow. So this area is pretty tricky. There's one mission here that can be pretty finicky. And then another one that can be pretty finicky. The 2 missions that can be pretty finicky if you're counting. And like I said, this area completely intends on you having hoverball, so it doesn't save much time other than just jumping around like you usually would. You're supposed to go like around this area, but you can just jump through that gap. Alright, this mission is interesting. So, the Congrillans need to redirect sunlight down here using mirrors to keep their banana trees growing. And they've all gotten misaligned from the sound disrupting them. I need to realign every mirror, which there are 7 in this column and 5 on the other column. So, as long as I'm counting, should be good. Don't hit it again. Thank you. I'm gonna try to bounce off of this mirror. It bounces me over there. It didn't work. That was the plan. I'm gonna try to just kind of bounce between sets of 2 mirrors here so I can use momentum from hitting the top one. And, ooh, well, they're a little too long there. Oh man. I bounce off this mirror, and on the way down, I'm going to make absolutely sure that I land on the fan itself. If I do not do that, there's a chance that it'll just stay on, which makes the next mission very hard. Actually, might not have turned it off there. Okay, I did. This mission here, we need to bring in these crabs. They're causing a ruckus here with the trees, eating bananas and stuff, I guess. Just gonna get them sucking into that pipe. Tetherball. And they can actually knock me off of the platform if I'm not careful, so you need to pay very close attention and make sure that does not happen. This mission is very bad if the fan doesn't turn off. So if it doesn't turn off, I'll actually just use Scalar Ball again to go over it again and make sure it actually goes off that time. Alright, so then we got one mission left in this area. We're going to deliver a message. Actually, go ahead and use Hover Wall before I actually end the mission, because there's actually a delay after ending missions before you can chant. Oop. He didn't want to talk to me. Alright, and this just goes to that guy who had the crab mission, who doesn't even move. Every other message balloon recipient moves before you deliver the message, but that guy is just like, no. Alright, 53 joy points, good to go to the last area. Here we go. So, this is our last section of Congrilla before the ending area. And for this area, we're not going to do anything too crazy. We're going to take our last picture, and then we're going to be patching up the pipe that takes us to the end of the area. Our picture is right on top of this abode. I'm actually going to roll over by Mac over here, and he's positioned very conveniently to let me bounce off of him, or jump on him, I guess. Just to climb up here, skips like half of the sissy mission. Guess he's the photographer. And then from here, I'm already at the end of the room. I can just jump over, and here we are at the last mission. Go ahead and use a sticky ball here. Okay, can't read and cooperate. Gotta hit this button to turn off that vent thing. And make sure these actually go on. You can go directly over these things without the patch is going on sometimes, which is very annoying, as you might imagine. Alrighty. So, finishing up Congrilla now. The actual ending mission of Congrilla is just a monkey ball stage for some reason. So, the only thing actually preventing you from doing it if you don't have 60 joy points is the fact that there's a monkey standing on it. And he will walk off of the platform if you have 60 joy points, which is kind of funny. Alright, here we go. We're going to do Slipknot. This is the last stage of Experts. We skipped the rest of Expert because why did we do it? That was very strange movement. I don't know why I did that stage like that. I really have no idea why I just did that. Alright, so that's that. We have now completed everything we need to do for the final mission to spawn. So here we go. What?! Okay, that was the dumbest thing I've ever done in this game. So what just happened there? I was trying to chant, and I just happened to press A to chant right as the mission was under me. So that lost a little bit of time. But anyway, now back to Jungle Island, finishing up the run. We just need to go back to the palace first. That's where the actual mission itself is. Alrighty. Not too interesting here, we're just kind of following the path. This is how you're supposed to get to that palace area the first time. Pretty cool. I'm actually going to skip what are supposed to be the first 3 stages you play. Or technically first 4, I suppose. So the guy's actually going to tell me how to do monkey ball stages, because I don't know how to do them yet. There's also a naysayer here. Don't need to worry about him. I have enough joy points for everything. But I'm actually going to stop and use hover ball just before I get to the naysayer, so I can just jump over him and talk to the guy. And now I don't have to chant after talking to him. So that saves just a tiny bit of time. Ooh, handful. Alright, here we go. Final area. So this area actually has a skip in it, which is kind of funny. You're supposed to use Sticky Ball to climb up this entire tower. It's 3 sections. We're going to use Sticky Ball for 1 section. Because the way Hoverball works is it'll actually let you boost up off of pretty much anything that's not like straight vertical. Like this tree is slanted, so I can just climb up like that, and the camera's going to turn extremely awkwardly. But we're good. I was still fast using Sticky Ball. Unfortunately, I have never been able to find a way to skip this part using Sticky Ball. We just gotta climb up it like normal. And then last area here. Be a bit careful, just for safety's sake. And... okay, I could not tell where I was whatsoever. Being kind of finicky, so I didn't want to do anything too risky. And our last mission here is a memory game, but I have the pattern memorized because I can remember 12-digit codes. I've done this many times. Crazy, I know. Alright, and time will be right when I hit the last thing after doing the 12th bell. So, this is it. End of the run. Gotta go across 2 more times here, and here we go. 3, 2, 1, time. So that is Super Monkey Ball Adventure Story Mode 80%. We got the ending. Big wedding going on. Kind of glossed over that. They're getting married. It's pretty cool. But yeah, thank you for watching and considering me to be in SGDQ. This category is a lot of fun. Unfortunately, been dormant recently, but pretty cool category. Thank you.